that the president did well last night, very well politically. But I saw you on NBC afterwards talking to Brian Williams, and you had said that it may have come a week or two late. What did you mean by that?
Interesting point. Well, I think if he politically wanted, I mean, think about it. Yesterday, we already have a Senate deal. We know that this whole sausage process is basically done. So if the purpose of the events of these 24 hours, the two events yesterday and what we're going to see today, was to increase the amount of political pressure on Republicans, well, it's somewhat too late. I mean, yeah, some of them can get on board late, but in many ways the train's left the station. If the other purpose of last night, my only critique of last night on his performance, and the way I was looking at this is, was he explaining his plan to the average person who's sitting there wondering, how is it going to affect me? Like immediately me? Was he connecting the plan? And I think the difficulty, and frankly, I don't know if it's even possible. The plan is so large. I thought yesterday in Indiana, the president did a great job of talking about how this plan could help in Indiana, a place that was hard hit, especially Elkhart. The RV manufacturing plant has sort of gone away. I thought he did a good job of explaining how it could help there. But it's tough to slice this plan up and then to connect it in this the bigger part of the plan to the average American. I think it's been very difficult for this White House, and it may be why the American public sort of, when they hear Obama's name attached to it, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, but they're still not there.
Chuck, it has been a difficult process. We've been very critical of the process, as have a lot of editorial writers. It seems sloppy. It seems like the White House has been off their game. It seems like all the political skills that they learned throughout the campaign were lost. And then we see a poll like the Gallup poll that came out yesterday that makes me think that perhaps we've overanalyzed it. We don't know what we're talking about. Look at this Gallup poll that shows right now, can you guys please put up the Gallup poll? 67% of Americans approve of the handling, Barack Obama's handling of the stimulus package. And now look at the Republican numbers. It looks like Pete Sessions and his Taliban brothers in the House of Representatives, as well as the Senate, getting pummeled. 31% approve of Republicans' handling and 58% disapprove. This looks like Barack Obama is still on top of his game.
Well, and it's also a warning. You know, one of the things that I've heard some criticize the president. Well, boy, not a lot of Republicans are going to be on board on this. And I'm like, you know what? I think the public is watching Washington to see if they're doing something. And as far as reaching out to Republicans, if they see the president appointing Republicans to his cabinet, appointing Judd Gregg, people like that to his cabinet, in their minds they're going, yep, he's checking the Republican box. He is being bipartisan. They're not keeping track of vote counts. And I think that may be the miscalculation that John Boehner or Mitch McConnell's making in this sense. But again, I go back to look at those poll numbers, Joe. And if you knew you had those, and trust me, David Axelrod and Robert Gibbs have been beating me over the head saying, guys, the polling has been on our side. And I'm like, oh, but then, well, where was this a week ago? They actually could have leveraged, I think, public opinion better and probably gotten 5 more Republicans on their side in the Senate, 10 Republicans on their side in the House, had they been doing this last week. It's, like I said, it just feels, for what actually is going on in Washington right now with this plan versus what we're seeing PR-wise, it just feels out of place.
All right.
All right, Chuck Todd, thank you.